Revelation Wellness, we are here today. Alisa Keeton and myself, Aaron, we are here to celebrate the 1,000 episode of the Revelation Wellness podcast.
Good one.
It's good, right?
Well done. Yes.
How does it feel to not be in control at the moment?
I'm very concerned because you're in control.
That's true. You should be concerned.
And if anyone's listening on the podcast, it's Aaron's. Go to YouTube because Aaron is driver's seat today.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I love being in the driver's seat.
I know you do.
It's so fun. I haven't gotten to be into the driver's seat since the Body Revelation release 2 years ago and one day. Tomorrow will be 2 years.
That's so wild.
Tomorrow, June 13th.
I can't believe it.
It was a Tuesday.
Well, that was a good time.
It was a great time. We had such a fun time.
You're back. So what are we doing?
We are celebrating the 1,000th podcast today. So I've got some questions for you. I know you always have questions for people.
Yeah.
And my first question for you, Alisa Keeton, that the general public would like to know is, do you prefer coffee, tea, or kombucha?
What is it, Karen? You tell them.
Kombucha.
All the way, through
all
and through.
The way, all day.
Secondary, though, I've been on a chai kick for the last year or so, but
not dirty chai, like where you throw espresso shot in.
No,
just chai.
Just chai.
Do you make chai at home?
No, I haven't really gotten into it yet. But I like tea, but I haven't done chai at home. Try.
You can make like your own brand chai way to heaven. You like
How
that?
long you heard that someone
No,
said that. You just did
I'm
it right
just
now.
right there.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. In the flesh.
Stylings of Aaron. Yep, here we go.
All right, we got that. One more thing that everyone's been dying to know is your favorite athletic wear go-to brand.
Oh, I mean, I'm a through and through Lulu girl because of my size. I think they fit me petite best, but that's just in pants. Tops, I can kind of go all over. But Amazon has a massive knockoff. I've said this in other shows. CRZ Yoga is one.
Crazy Yoga.
That it literally is
I almost wore my CRZ Yoga shorts today.
I've heard from people that they source from the same factory as Lulu.
Yeah.
So I have tried the CRZ pants because I'd like to save some money.
Yeah.
But they didn't fit me quite as snug.
Yeah, they probably don't have the different...
I think their scales are a little bit different of the whatever sizing, but the quality is still there.
Yeah, Andrea has their skirts and loves them.
Yeah. Some cute stuff.
They're great. Okay, that's what we wanted to know. And I got to throw another one. Favorite shoe brand?
Oh, yours. Because Aaron's, what are you wearing today? Show the people.
Y'all don't want to know.
Show the people. He'll tell you the history of the shoe.
Do you want to know the history of the shoe? It's not camo, although it looks camo. It is a latte. This is the Starbucks Nike collab back from 2014. Yeah, that's what this is. And it is the Nike SB. It brand new. If you were to find a pair of these brand new today, now look, y'all, I didn't. My brother got it for me. I paid $99. If you were to find these unused today, which you can on StockX, they're $1,500.
What in the world?
That's a markup. That's an investment.
An investment.
And it was only $100. You can't beat that investment.
So for those of you who don't know, Aaron grew up, his parents owned a shoe store. So I love that story about you because you've been surrounded by shoes your whole life.
I've been serving souls my whole life.
There it is. Another one.
Dad joke.
He has, an affinity for shoes, but I appreciate it. It's your thing.
Yeah.
My shoe brand, gosh, I don't think I'm a loyalist to anything.
I disagree. I have answers for you. I'm like surprised you're not down here shooting around. The same way that you have different for like pants and tops for your athletic wear, you like On Cloud for your movement, and then this very specific New Balance style.
Yeah, this one has been around a while. The 327s, I think they're called New Balance, and I do have those. But I don't work out in these.
No. You only move in the On Cloud.
These are like daily wear kind of thing. The On Cloud. Yeah, but I switched because I used to be Nike through and through for years.
Yeah. We've seen it in our imagery over the years.
Yeah,
branding my shoes
my shoes colors change. Yeah, and I used to be like really bright shoes. Now I'm just
black.
Yeah, minimalist shoe, white, cream, black. I'm sure I'll swing back. But I do like On. Yeah. I like the Cloud for walking or running, but now with all this movement to minimalism again and like, really bringing your feet alive. So I don't know. I just play around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Shifting.
Well, we're glad you do.
Thanks.
All right. We're going to take a walk down memory lane and I've heard this story, but but I don't know that everybody's heard this story. We want to know, how did the podcast begin?
Wild story. Such a good story. So Revelation Wellness became a nonprofit in 2011. So this is our 15th year. And I can preach on the 15th year, but I don't have time. Maybe we'll do another podcast on that. 2011, and at that point it was me, and honestly me. I had no one else to kind of help me out, but there was this gal named Sheila Hall. So shout out to Sheila Hall if she's watching this. She was in my very first class of instructor training. There was 11 that I trained, 12 including myself because I was learning still. And she was one of the 12 or one of the 11. And she, after, much like a lot of times when people get around instructor training or get close to what God's doing here, like really pour themselves into it, they get changed.
Yeah.
Like God moves.
Right.
And usually people are like, how can I help?
Yeah.
And back
What
then,
can I do?
Right, what can I do? Back then, when anyone said, how can I help? I'm like, anything. Can you do anything? Can you fog a mirror? Really, like anything you can do, help me. And so Sheila stepped in to do some administration because this was prior to Leah, our first official CO. And she would just help me run spreadsheets and stuff like that. One day she calls me. I'd got done teaching a class. I'm still teaching at the local gym. I can remember walking out of the class, shifting my brain to go do some Rev stuff. And she said, hey, so I started this thing today, and I think it's going to be a thing. Have you heard? There's this thing called podcasts that Apple's doing for the iPhone, or it'll be like an iPhone-supported thing. I said, what is that? She's like, I'm not sure, but I think it's kind of like a radio thing. But I just set up a channel for us. And so it's there. Great. It sat there for like 2 years maybe or so. We didn't do anything with it. And then a gentleman named Tom Brown invited me to come on his radio show, like a legit radio show here in Arizona, and be a guest as like his weekly wellness gal, which was delightful. And I went and did that. And then about a month or two after doing that, he said, hey, I have all these episodes. Do you want to do anything with them? Like you can put them, can you use them for your people? And then I thought, well, I have that thing called a podcast. It's sitting there. And Sheila Hall uploaded them. And I think that if you scroll all the way back to number 1, we'll get a verified account of that today, though. All the way, I'm pretty sure it was the Koinonia radio show that it's me talking with another guy.
Wow.
So we just started slowly uploading it into there. And then it really wasn't until a few years later that Revving the Word happened. And then that was another breakthrough.
Man, that's crazy.
I would have never... I need to remember these stories because it's nice to know that other people are doing things through God's hands, like preparing things, because I would have not thought about it. I probably would not have had time to figure it out. Yeah. And she did, and it was just sitting there.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Okay, so tell us how Revving the Word started, because that's a story too.
You know what? And I'm going to try to for YouTube people. So when we edit this, put a picture of me when I broke my foot. Okay. So I was developing Rev, teaching instructors, teaching in my local church, and had a community thriving and growing. And my classes were pretty packed a lot, which was just a kindness of the Lord. People would come from other churches to come experience this. What is this woman, like Jesus stuff and fitness going on? And they came. And I mean, I will say I can teach a mean class. Like I can teach an effective workout for people. So people were coming for the workout, but they were getting the Jesus too, and they kept coming. And so one day I had this really full class of people, and this one woman came. It was her first time, and a friend dragged her over. And we had, when I had big classes, I would do station circuits to just kind of even out the flow. And there's this one station I set up, and it was Liebert bars. Do you know what Liebert bars are? Mm-mm. They ever seen those bars? They're like, look like monkey bars, but they're just like in a U shape, and they're yellow or pink. They're just like these bars. Almost looks like handrails, like if you were in therapy. Yeah. And you can do like dips or push-ups. Yeah. And we had these Liebert bars, and I had her like put her hand on the Liebert bar, and all they were doing were little skips over a box, which it sounds crazier than it was. It wasn't. It was really pretty simple. And I was trying to show her the move. And her name was Michelle. I remember everything. Her name, I remember her hair, I remember what she was wearing. And I put my hand on the bar to like do the little, show her how to kind of do the leap. I think it's called a steeple jump. And I jumped over, and this my left foot landed and it twisted, like the ball of the foot landed, but the rest of the foot just twisted. And I tell you, Aaron, it felt like fire. Like fire hit my foot, just and for a second you just don't know what's going on, and then it just throbbed and throbbed, and it was bad. Then I started tearing up, and I knew I've done something. And I had a friend, I kind of hobbled over to the stage and sat for a second. I kept, as I do, kept directing. That's not like me at all. Kept the class going, and all things are fine, we're fine. And meanwhile, I am like dying on the inside.
Yeah.
And by the end of the class, it was swelling up. It was really bad. I knew it was bad. And I remember hopping on my friend Brooke's back. She put me on her back and carried me to her car, and I was off to the emergency room. And I did what's called a LIS Frank injury. And it's actually been known to taking out NFL players, football players, like their careers are over.
That makes sense.
With this kind of a tear. Yeah, so the big toe separates from the other toes and it just splits, almost like a wishbone. Yeah, and you just split it in half. So they had to put rods into my bones, and so I had a few surgeries, but it was a long recovery. So anyways, I had no weight bearing. I couldn't be on my feet.
Right.
Oh, so bad. I'll try to find a picture of like this peg leg thing that I walked on because I just needed to be mobile. I had young kids.
Yeah.
So as I was recovering from that, I wanted something that I could do that was not impact. And so I could go to the gym and do a little bit of recumbent biking as I was healing. And I was at the gym, and I remember thinking, I wish I missed Rev. Like I wanted to hear some song. I wanted to think about scripture. And then I just thought, I wonder if I could put those two together. And I went home to my Peloton bike, and I remember putting a playlist together. In my mind, it just all pieced together. I'm going to have a playlist. I'll put that in my ears. I'll put a little lapel mic on. I'll record to my voicemail while I'm listening to this. And then I'll go to GarageBand. I'll put it all together. And I remember after I did the first episode, I called Kara and Katrina, and I uploaded it to the podcast as something different and new. And I remember calling them saying, I just did something that it's either going to be really good or terrible. But I think it's going to be really good. And that was the beginning. And we got really good interaction from it. And to this day, it's still something we enjoy.
Yeah, it's it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so unique.
We've talked about how it just lets people kind of move and hear and not have to, you get to be in your body without being overly stimulated.
Right.
And I think we try to do that. Something I want to work on now is we're so stimulated as people.
Mm-hmm.
Like even as I'm talking, like sometimes I just need space.
Yeah.
Like quiet. I think our brains need it. So even in Revving the Word, I'm trying to change it a little bit, architect a little bit to have more space for people.
Yeah. Cool. So this is you don't have to answer this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do. You got to answer it. It's the 1,000th episode. Who's been your favorite podcast guest?
I thought you were going to say, who's your favorite staff member?
We already know that answer.
Yeah.
We already know that answer.
My favorite podcast guest. I mean, it's a hard one. Honestly, I thought about this. I thought you might ask me that. And there's one person who comes on, and when he starts to speak, the way he looks at me, I kind of want to cry every time. He's like looking into my soul. And I'm surprised by this answer because there's been some amazing guests.
Beth Moore.
Christine Kane. John Mark Comer. Mm-hmm. John Tyson. I love John Tyson.
Recently, Levi Lusko. Some great
names.
Yeah.
But the one that kind of comes up and bubbles up in my soul as one who just is John Eldredge.
Yeah. Man, that's such a great answer.
John Eldredge. And I think he is one of those, we were just talking earlier in the break room, how like a quiet life,
mm-hmm.
but yet has made great impact on the world, but then kind of just goes away. He doesn't need to go on podcast tours. I mean, it's so kind when he comes by. He's been twice, and I already told him, write another book, do something. I don't even need him to write a book. Just come back.
Yeah. I edit those. And so when I see that interaction, I can sense that. You can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good answer.
Yeah. It's the best.
How have you personally grown over 1,000 episodes?
Oof. Well, I've grown gray hairs, grown some wrinkles, I've grown some, yeah. I've grown, I think I'm more resilient. Because I mean, 1,000 episodes too just says you're just going to keep showing up, doing it again, doing it again. And we've been through highs and lows of seasons. You know, everything's still different. People, how they consume health and wellness now, what they even think about it, can feel kind of icky. And we were just talking about this too, about just very kind of self-centered. And I don't want that for Revelation Wellness. Like, how do we stand apart from all of it? And it is Jesus. Yeah. So following Jesus for 1,000 episodes into this I need to shout out Cindy Molinax.
Yeah, good job, Cindy.
Cindy is our podcast producer. Couldn't do it without her. Tracy East, who before Cindy really plowed some fields.
Even volunteered.
Yeah. And so that I couldn't keep going if they weren't doing that prep work of getting the guests and finding out, researching enough so that I don't show up cold. But there's been, highs and lows. And I think just 1,000 episodes in, I just feel like God is faithful. He is still in control. I would really love control, still wrestling that one out. But
that's why we're exercising this way today. It's just for your benefit.
I know this is it's weird because part of me likes to just, I was saying that to Cindy. I'm like, oh, so I'm just going to show up. Oh, that's kind of nice. But then I'm like, what are we doing? And Aaron's in charge. Okay. No. Resilience.
Yeah, resilience. I think it's fun as a listener. I think the first podcast episode I heard was probably 2015.
Okay.
My wife, Andrea, was listening, and she searched faith and fitness or Christian fitness, and that's what came up. And so I heard it, and what's interesting to me is, and her more so because she consistently listened all the way through, is that when you have a podcast that long, people get to know your spiritual journey, your life journey. That's a good point. Because as people that speak, when what you take in, you put out. And so when things you're learning that you share, we get to go on that ride, and it's as if we're learning it too.
That's wild.
So we feel like we know you way more than you probably know us because we've been on those journeys with you, whether it's about your kids or about your life or about your church or
ministry.
Exactly.
That's such a good point. I think something else too that I've thought about from time to time is that one day I won't be here, but my kids and my grandkids will hear all those audios of things, and it's about my love for Jesus and going on that journey with them. And I've had people when I go, to do Rev events, they're like, I feel like you're my best friend. I know you don't know me, but you're with me every week. And I think that's very sweet. I love that.
That's so cool.
Love it.
Yep. All right. Is there or was there a bucket list guest you wanted to have on in the beginning and you were like, oh, this would be amazing, and then later it happened?
Beth Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beth Moore was one, and she was awesome. If you haven't listened to the Beth Moore one, it was so good because she talks about her early days in aerobics. And
we made a picture for that.
Yes, we did. I send that to her sometimes and DM her. She's fun that way. So we had Beth Moore. I remember Christine Kane was one, and we had Christine Kane. It's interesting now because I feel like the ones we thought at one point we'd get, we've been so kind that God has brought them on. Is there anyone that you think about that we have yet to have?
I mean, well, yeah.
Tell me.
Me? No, I'm just playing.
You're on.
I'm on. I would think of like from just different.
T.D. Jakes.
That's the one.
Did you? Was I reading your mind?
Yeah, because I was thinking, here's a guy who has had his health struggles, especially more recently.
I love that.
On the stage.
Yeah.
Yet is a powerhouse of ministry who really at his heart wants to get behind wellness.
I love that.
And I mean, what a guest. Come on.
Okay, Cindy Molinax, you have received your marching orders.
Yeah.
TDJ, that is a good one. I'm sure he's so busy. Who else was I was thinking about the other day? Oh, we've had on. I love him so much. We connect here and there on Instagram. Eddie James.
Eddie James, such a great guy.
And his journey towards health. We interviewed him. I don't know what episode it was, but
I got another one.
Tell me.
Jelly Roll.
Oh, we need Jelly Roll.
We need Jelly Roll on the Revelation Wellness Podcast.
Aaron has converted me to a Jelly Roll fan.
Yes, let's go.
I like a Jelly Roll, and I've heard he's been on his wellness journey.
He has been on his wellness journey. He is being very rooted in faith currently because of his ties with Brandon Lake, and even before that he was. But
discipleship.
He loves the Phoenix area, by the way. He wants to buy a house here.
You are a mega fan.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm a mega country fan. I could tell you all kind of things about all kind of artists.
Go get me Jelly Roll, Aaron. Let's get Jelly Roll.
I'll work on that. Yeah, it'd be my pleasure to work on that.
No,
that would be amazing. We'll have to do an in-studio interview.
Jelly Roll next time you're in Arizona.
You have a personal gym anytime you want it, buddy.
Anytime, yeah.
Why do you still do it after 1,000 episodes? What makes you keep coming back and hitting record?
I love two things. I love people.
Mm-hmm.
I've been asking the team. I love this.
Yeah.
Ugh,
I know. This is my favorite.
Right, you too.
Oh my gosh.
I think the one thing that does sometimes, there is a little bit of a grind. I'll just say this honestly, and I think most podcasters feel this, especially when you do Zoom or online. You kind of take a deep breath, like, okay, I don't know this person.
Yeah.
I don't, you do feel nervous. I've had other podcast friends who are like, my guest canceled. I'm so happy. Like they get relieved. Like, oh, because it's like going on a blind date over and over and over again. So you kind of come a little bit, I hope they like me. I hope this is going to be good. That's in every conversation. But if I get with someone, I don't even care if they're not going to like me because I like them. Like I'm interested in them and that comes through better in person than on a camera. It's harder, but I do really try to. Here's a little tip for all of you. This is for everyone who's ever on a Zoom. And if you're trying to connect with people, if you're on a job interview on a Zoom, you are not on a job
I'm like, what are you doing? I thought you were pointing to me like you need to practice this. I'm like, whoa.
When you're on a job interview or on a Zoom, don't look at yourself. Look at the little hole, the little camera. So I'm looking at that as I'm asking my question or as I'm listening, but then I'll just kind of go back and forth because I'm trying to connect with them as much as possible. I'm trying to use my mind, my mirror neurons in my brain to theirs so that you get the best interview possible. Yeah. So I love this conversation and knowing people. And then I love Revving the Words because I love the embodiment. Yeah. So between those two, and I love teaching. Yeah. It's honestly, the podcast feels like one of the most life-giving places for me when I also have the right rhythm because there's so many other things to do sometimes. Yeah, I can see that for sure. What does the future of the podcast look like? What do you think? What do you think?
I don't get paid to think
You're in the market. Now. You're in the team that talks about these things.
Okay, if it's what I think, I think that the faith and fitness portion of it is why people keep coming to it. However, we know by research that the interviews go. Like, people love seeing the interaction. I see people coming here.
Prophesy.
Or us going in person, taking a tea.
To the bones.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And because that's where it's at. And when there's something you can't get, that there's a connection piece, a fire piece that you just can't get virtually. Imagine those conversations with John Eldredge.
Oh, man.
On the couch.
We'd have I would be laying down and he'd be taking notes. Right? I'd be just weeping like a baby.
It's just it makes a big difference when you can do things like that in person. So I see a capacity for that. That's the big one.
Yeah, I agree with that 100,000%. And I know research is showing, which is why we're doing YouTube right now. So if you're on the podcast, go listen, go watch on YouTube. People are, we shift back and forth between sometimes we just want to hear stuff and then we want to see stuff. Yeah. People want to see now. I think they want to see the actual connection and relationship, not just two floating boxes in a square. Yeah. Because that's anyone can do that. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that would be a cool thing to happen. So. And
then it'd be fun to have, generally when you have guests, somebody's got a book. You got a book or the guest has a book, and that's when they want to push it. They got something happening like that. It's like, I wonder if there wouldn't be, and this is all podcast world. Like, that's podcast.
Yeah.
You got a book, you do your tour.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if there wouldn't be a more natural connection that's authentic between two people if there's nothing to push.
Oof.
I'm not promoting.
Preach.
You're not here so I can promote your stuff. You're here because we want to talk about God to the people. And we want people to get that.
I love that.
Feel. I just think that'd be a fun space to explore that's really hard to get because people want to push their stuff, and that's how you get them on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, there's been some interviews that I've had to do where people are talking about their thing, and I'm like, on paper it looked like it would connect with our audience, but the conversation wasn't really. I don't know, it just wasn't hitting because I think they were so occupied with trying to say the right things about the thing instead of just talk.
Just talk.
Just say whatever without having to worry about book sale or whatever. Yeah. I agree with that.
Do you have any other thoughts on where you would like to see the podcast go in the future?
No, this is it.
That's
This is
it.
where I'd love to see it. I'd love to see people walk through those doors of 10818 North 32nd Street in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you are a pastor, a minister, you're someone who's like, I want to talk embodiment. I want to talk the healing of the church. I want to talk about Jesus coming back. I want to talk about all those things. Just let us know. Literally, email cmullinax@revelationwellness.org. Walk through these doors. This couch is open.
I'll do you one better. Bring your staff and we'll rev them person in the studio. You can call it a retreat, and then we'll do the podcast.
That's a great idea.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the door is open. This studio, we're so grateful to have this and all that we have. Let's use it in all ways, not just for our own little purposes.
Shameless plug. Can you imagine a better investment for your staff as a church? If I'm a pastor and I got a staff, can you imagine a better investment than flying everyone here, putting them in a hotel, and letting us rev them in this room?
Letting us rev them, letting us health summit them, which we just did.
You can go to them.
Have such power.
But man, there's no better investment. There's not a better investment because of what it will do for the person.
Okay, you talk about that. I want to turn to because Aaron has history in the church, once pastored a church. Mm-hmm. What do you see as what Rev brings to the church that sets it apart?
Well, there's no other ministry that can minister to the whole person. I was writing something 2 days ago for a project, and when I was writing it, I was writing something that I could do, and I was like, I am trained to minister to the whole person. Like, I was able to say that.
Wow.
And I'm like, that is in and of itself a rarity. Wow. And that's the thing about it is you can get more information. But let's just be honest. Like, we're about 100 Bible verses overweight anyway.
Yeah.
And so we have so much more information. If information alone could change people, we'd be the smartest people on the planet. And everyone would be Jesus followers. Well, they're not.
Hey.
And because there's more to the story than what we know, to who we are. It's very Cartesian in our thinking that we're just brains on legs, and we're not. We have bodies.
Come on.
And so the bad stuff that happens gets stuck in our good bodies. And it's like, when we can work that out, but do it from a base that is Christ-centered, man, it changes everything from the inside out. That's a whole person. That's the only thing I know is we deal with the whole person.
Person theology.
Yeah.
Okay, I want a shameless plug for us. Hey, it's 1,000. Let's celebrate
We're
what
doing
we
it.
do. We're celebrating us. Celebrate what Jesus has done through here. A couple days ago, I put this on my stories last night. A few days ago, I had a really hard day. Mm-hmm. And we've all had really hard days where it's hard. Like, it feels like the floor falls out. You know, you thought you're walking, Jesus, this is great. And then just something else hits. And that night it was Tuesday night, and on Tuesday nights I signed up for a Bible study at our church, and I go with Sophia, and I didn't want to go. Like, I was feeling like my emotions were like, ugh. But I prayed and I felt like, no, you go because the Lord is there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go meet with the Lord. It's a Bible study. And as we were driving there with Sophia, I just felt really downcast. I said, I wish more than anything tonight that there was just some singing that would happen. Like usually this is the Bible, and for a lot of churches, this is the the order of events. You get there, you eat something, and then you watch a video, or there's a little happy laugh. Somebody sets it up, ice breaks. Then you watch a video, and then you talk about the video, and then you pray and exchange some prayer things, and then you go home. Maybe, hopefully, there might be singing at your Bible study, but I was just desperate I wish we would just sing tonight, because I knew that singing would at least get me in my body, because it's a parasympathetic thing. It is literally, our nervous system is wired for song. And so I'm but more than anything, I wish that we would sing, and then somebody would just get up and read scripture, not talk at me, just read some scripture, and then give us time to reflect and journal, and maybe just stretch or walk. I didn't need more information.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to go study the Bible. Okay. Yeah. And that's exactly what it was. So the whole time we were there, I was working so hard, you guys. I was trying to be I couldn't, my brain just couldn't do more information.
Yeah.
And I muscled through it. I got home and I was like, all right, Lord, I was faithful. Well, then the next day, which was last night, we had a prayer and worship night here in this studio. And all we do is come, everyone rolls out a mat, which it feels kind of like kindergarten, where you're it's nap time, lay down, you know, and it's true, we are his children, just lay down, just get in your body for a second. And Tammy puts on worship music, reads a verse, does a little talk of the verse, but it lets us move our body. And I laid in a position, I did 2 stretches the whole night, and just the Lord was ministering to me.
Mm-hmm.
He was just ministering. It's going to be okay. And I had more revelation of Jesus in that than I did sitting at that Bible study, because I couldn't do any more in my head.
Yeah.
It's the bottom-up approach. That's Revelation Wellness for the church. It's we've forgotten 1/3 of who we are. Body, soul, spirit. The church is really good with soul, spirit, but we're bodies.
Right.
So that's what I love.
And we're scared of it. Honestly, as a pastor, you're scared to talk about the body because you don't feel like you have authority in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for me, when I was pastoring, I had a lot of surgeons and doctors in the room, psychiatrists in the room. And so I feel like I don't have the authority that someone else has. Having said that, my authority being biblically based, I do have the authority of what the Bible says about the body.
Yeah, and Jesus, who was a body,
right,
and is a body.
Yeah.
We don't have to be, and I think that goes back to the Cartesian thing, which is the dualism. That the body is bad, it's broken, we got to fix it, doctor, science, and then spirit, good, theology. No, we can understand our bodies from a pure God-designed base. It's good. We just have approached it from it's a problem, we need to fix it, we need to study it, we need to, instead of, how about we just return to the Lord with our bodies and see if he would come and dwell and tabernacle with us.
Yeah.
And he does.
It's our reasonable service.
Amen. Romans 12:1.
Yeah. Yeah. Present your bodies. It doesn't say present your brains.
Mm-hmm. Or present to me your anatomy and understanding of the body.
Right. Or your theology.
Just bring your body here.
Yeah. So good.
I love Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Do you, this is hard because it's you would typically have to scan through some audio for this, but are there any that really stick out in your mind? Do you have any mic drop moments that are your favorite on the podcast?
Well, I'm going to go back to John Eldredge, the first time he came on, and he said, he gave us this prayer. I don't even know if he wrote about it somewhere in a book, but he gave the prayer. Jesus, I give you everything and everyone.
Yeah.
That's it. He said this, how many words? I was that's it. That's I think that's proper worship. I give you everything and everyone, and here's my body too. So that was a mic drop that stayed with me. John Mark Comer, when he came on, he talked about his book, Practicing the Way. So that's a great book.
Plug for that. Go buy it.
Huge plug. And in the book, he talked about the story, but he retold the story of the woman who is a spiritual development, formation teacher, and she shared that story. It's just an allegorical story of a priest and a man in the congregation who shows up every day. He's in the church, keeps showing up day after day, and finally the priest asks him, "What do you do here day after day?" just sitting there. And he says, oh, that's easy. I look at him, he looks at me, and we're happy. That's just the
so
simple
good.
little mic drop. So John Mark Comer shared that story. And I was like, it's kind of like, tell me again.
Right?
Tell me the
It's
story
so
again.
good.
It's so good. I love that one. It sticks with me.
Yeah.
Lisa, you know who's a good one to interview? Anyone? Just get Lisa Bevere on your show. Ask 2 questions, and
Hey,
she's
let her
gone.
go.
Yeah. That woman will preach herself in and out of a paper
Their whole
bag.
family, I feel like,
Yeah.
would be great people to interview.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, the Beveres, they've been awesome. Yeah, I can't think. Everyone has taught me something. That's something that I think I'm just honored. You get to sit with somebody and ask the questions that you wish to know based on their expertise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. You talked a minute ago about laying in here last night
Mm-hmm.
and being here. Did you ever think in this space, this would be a place where you could come be ministered to personally? You know what I mean? Did you like, that's like a full circle moment of like, I'm here receiving and I thought I was here creating.
Yeah.
You know?
That's wild. Yeah. I mean, it's been 15 years and it's awesome to see how it's going forth without me. And I think it was always the hope that I would not be needed and others would run with it. But also, even last night, I laid on the mat and I looked up at everything here. I mean, and I know y'all can't see it on camera, but it's not like we have this huge place, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
And I thought about how it started, like Revving the Word started in my bedroom or my office with a little Peloton bike. We didn't even have an office. And then RevWell TV, we recorded in my home with this backdrop. You can go to YouTube, you can see the early days. And I didn't have any of this, but I looked around like, wow. I just had one of those moments where I'm like, you bought me that chair, Jesus.
Yeah.
You bought that light. And I went around and thought, and I started doing that doesn't belong to me. That belongs to you.
Yeah.
That's yours too. That air conditioning, that's yours. This is all his. This is all his. And the fact that it's coming back to me in a gift form is just pretty cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. All right, well, we have people that love you. And,
I love people.
And we have just some special people. And there are many. However, there are 2 who wanted to make sure that you knew how special this moment was. So Brittany is going to send us a message from 2 of our favorite people.
Hey Alisa, it's Artie. Congratulations on 1,000 episodes of the Revelation Wellness podcast. I remember when I was a guest on there, and who would have known? Like, just that moment on that podcast starting this really deep, like, friendship, and it has changed so much for me. It's changed the way I think about my body. It's changed the way I think about God, and it's changed the way that I talk about both of those things to the people that God's given me to talk to. So thank you so much for your ministry and your shepherding and your commitment, especially when times have gotten tricky, as they always do. So good job and keep going.
I love you.
Hey, Alisa, Susie Larson here.
Susie.
1,000 episodes. Oh my goodness. Congratulations. You know, watching you steward your call brings so much faith and inspiration to my heart. You have a brilliant mind, a beautiful heart, and I see you as stewarding healing, cycle breaking, freedom for so many as you dig into the mind, body, spirit connection to how fearfully and wonderfully made we are. God has appointed you for such a time as this, and it's my honor to call you friend, to cheer you on, and I just want to say congratulations, and I pray this is just the beginning of many, many more episodes, much more redemptive healing, ministry, and inspiration for all those that God has entrusted to you. We love you, we appreciate you, and we are cheering you on. God bless you.
Wow.
How fun is that? Come on.
That's made me all bubbly inside.
Isn't it great?
Thank you.
Well, we have another thing to make you bubbly inside. We have a friend who happens to be local. Chandler, I believe. Is that right? Peoria. That's better than Chandler, if you live here. And Her name is Karen.
I know
Karen Holm.
I
And
requested this guest.
Karen has listened to 999 episodes. And she's going to be on the 1,000th episode.
Yay!
So Karen, you and I are going to switch places for a minute.
Karen, come here. Guys, this is so cool. This was my request. This was the request I had when we were closing in on 1,000. I thought, this is the time. Karen's going to come on. Karen came to me. When did we cross paths? Was it how many years ago?
The first time was Revving the Word in Phoenix, March 23.
March of 2023.
Yeah, is when I first met you in person.
You have been busy for 2 years
Yes,
then, listening. So tell people a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get to the 1,999 episodes you listened to.
I don't know how far back to go, but I have dealt with weight, body issues since like 9 years old. Told you I might tear up.
She might cry. We're all good with that.
And through many Christian, even weight loss programs, just things. And through sheer just determination and white knuckling it through the years, I lost the weight because in high school I weighed over 200 pounds, but my heart wasn't free. And even when I would talk to people and tell them, they go, but you look fine. And then I knew they weren't safe people, like they didn't get me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I knew I wasn't free.
Yeah.
And I came across Revelation Wellness. And I started reading the Wellness Revelation. And July 17th of 22 was like a light bulb moment for me in that book when I realized I had been falsely told that my weight was my Egypt that I needed to be delivered from.
Oof.
And through that book, I realized that my Egypt was worldly standards.
Oh,
And on that Sunday morning,
come on.
everything changed.
Wow.
And I knew that I had found my people
Yeah.
that understood me.
Yes, we do.
And on August 1st of 2022, I started back walking every morning. And it was August 1st of 2022. I started with episode 1.
She went all the way back.
'Cause
What
I
is episode
And
1?
it's with
Me
Tom
and
Brett.
Tom
Yep.
Brett.
Yep. That's how it all starts because I didn't know where to start. So I'm like, I'm starting in the very
You're
beginning.
an accountant,
I
right?
am an accountant.
So you wanted to make sure. So you would also start at the
So-
most recent and
Yes.
and you
So
would-
Monday through Friday mornings, I would walk and I would listen. But then I also was like, well, but I want to know what's currently going on with the ministry.
Yeah.
So I would listen
To the
to
most
current.
recent, yeah.
And then I would do, so the Revving the Words are my favorite. I love those. I would listen
And
to.
you love Aaron's Revving the Word.
Yes,
Shout out to
I was
Aaron.
waiting to say if Alisa's my number 1 favorite.
But
Aaron is my number
2.
2 favorite for the Revving the Words.
I love it.
And then I would listen to the interviews. Usually when I was doing meal preps, like on Saturday, I would listen to the
interviews
interview
or the
ones, and then
education ones.
the Be Still and Be Loves I would
Yeah.
listen to in the evenings.
Yeah.
And then December of 24 is when I got all caught up. So it took me
December of 24.
almost 2.5 years.
So you're
took.
now. How's your last 6 months been of being all caught? What are you doing?
It's
the other
messing.
3 days
It's
of the
messing me up.
I'm sorry.
Because obviously, usually there's 2
2
a week that get, and so I've tried to find some other things, and it's just not the same.
Your neural pathways.
It's just
are
not the
set.
same. So then I'll just re-listen to some, and
Yeah. Or just
his-
worship music,
yeah.
or go for a walk.
yeah, but the Revving the Words are just so good. There's nothing like it.
I cannot believe that. I
Mm-hmm.
can't believe it. Okay, so I'm going to ask you if there's a favorite moment. Is there a favorite
Gosh.
podcast for you?
Just, I love all of the Revving the Words, and I can't believe how many times it would just hit what I was going through at the time. And then I would go home, because I walk first, and then I go home and have my quiet time every morning. And oftentimes then my quiet time would just be an extension, that I would end up getting the transcript
Yeah.
of the podcast and then journaling
Yeah.
what the Lord had spoken to me while I was walking. And
So good that you would
So-
journal.
oh yeah,
And
oh
reflect.
definitely.
I've
yeah.
heard that from people. They've said sometimes it's so hard. I'm listening and I want to take notes.
Yeah, well, that's
And
it.
I have to go back and
So
listen
I would
again.
walk and then come home, and then I could hit the transcript,
Yeah.
and then I would use the transcript to journal from in my quiet time.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Look what the Lord knew.
just
when he called.
incredible. It's just been quite the process. And then for interviews, Christoper Cook.
Oh,
is-
everyone, the Christoper Cook one.
That
Tell me
one
what
was
about in
huge.
that interview? Turned
So
for you?
then I did get his book,
Yeah.
Healing What You Can't Forget.
Yep.
And it was so rev. That book is so
he's
rev.
much.
And just talking about wholeness and transformation. And
Mm.
one of my quotes from that book that I have memorized that I actually kind of repeat in the mornings when I'm walking is that transformation is for wholeness, and wholeness is for strength, maturity, and longevity to serve God and the people around us with humility, excellence, and honor. Transformation is the better path, and wholeness is the better destination.
Wow.
And
You
so I
have
have that.
transformation is the better path.
and wholeness is the better destination. Yeah. So that's kind of become like a life
What a
mission
verse. Yeah.
for me, and that came from his book, which came from your podcast.
You know what I think about too, as Live Well health coaches, we're always encouraging people who are trying to change their mindset about their bodies, that you got to get a vision.
Yeah.
And that statement
Yeah.
is a vision.
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going. This is why I'm doing this
Mhm.
today.
Mhm.
I love that. I love that. Erin, I think we need to put that quote up so people can read it, because that's a powerful quote.
Yeah. And just the whole thing of the mindset change, the transformation that's taken place, that moving my body is for ability and not vanity. That is huge.
Yeah.
The whole motivation change
Isn't it
for
powerful?
even why I do it is just been huge.
So going from your weight being your Egypt
Yeah.
to now knowing what you were expecting of your body.
Yeah.
The expectations, the worldly standard
Yes.
that was raised up higher than the
Mhm.
standard and invitation of
Yeah.
God. That's been
Yeah.
pivotal.
Just life-changing. Life-changing.
What do you love about Jesus?
That he's my everything.
Yeah.
And that he is my safety. He's my refuge.
Yeah.
He's my life. And
Yeah.
that my life is hidden in his. Like, I've been a Christian since I was 9. And yet it's only been in this last 3 years of really truly understanding that my identity is rooted and hidden in him. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's been through Rev.
And it's a wholeness message for
Mhm.
you now.
Yeah.
Not just Jesus saved your soul,
Yeah.
but he also loves your body,
Yeah.
loves all of you.
And just even recently, you're one that was on his body for my body.
Woo! I have that one.
That one was huge. That was huge.
I
His body for my body.
his body for my body. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I take communion, I think
Yeah.
about that now. Your body, here's my body. We're
Yeah.
making this exchange.
And I have written in my Bible, it was in August of 2014, if I remember correctly by the scripture, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and that my soul knows right well. And at that time, I was journaling saying, Lord, I can't say that. I know your word says that, but I cannot say.
Yeah,
And that I know right well. I can't say that.
yeah.
And now I can.
Oh my
Just of the amount of
gosh.
healing that he has done in my heart, and that I can move because he's made my body to move. And it can be just a joy. When I go to walk in the morning, I ask him that would he take delight, and that would my move. And that's another thing from the wellness revelation, is that movement can be worship, because I
Yeah.
used to think of it was more of a selfish
Yes.
thing, because I had
Yes.
it more attached
To
to trying to change my body.
yes.
But now realizing that movement is a form of worship, and that he can delight over me as I move my body. And with that, I've seen what illness and disease. My mom died young of cancer, and my sister died from ALS. So I've seen what disease does
Yes.
to take away
Yes.
life
Yes.
and the ability to move.
Yes.
And so it is a celebration
Yeah.
of strength every day when I go. And also through Revelation Wellness, it'll be 3 years in September, go to the gym 3 days a week for weight training.
Yeah.
swear,
girl getting strong.
never in a million
Come
years
on,
would I
Karen.
ever think, first, that I would even do it, but second, that I would love it. And as my age, I'm 62, and I'm doing it for my bone health.
Yes.
Because at this age, you don't just stay the same.
Yeah, yeah.
You lose
starts
if
to
you
go
do
faster.
nothing.
That's right.
And so realizing that as long as God gives me the ability, I want to use my body to be strong
Yeah.
and to do what he wants me to do.
Tell everyone your prayer again. You say before you go for a walk, Lord, may this.
Yeah, I love also, I've learned this through Rev 2 from out of Job, of that the Spirit of God has made me and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. And then I'll say, in you I live, I move, and I have my being. And would you take pleasure in me now as you walk with me and talk with me? Would you take pleasure? And may this bring you joy. And these are all things I've learned through Rev. I would not be the person I am today without Rev.
Well, the Spirit has taught you all that.
Yeah.
Through this platform or this place. So
Yeah.
I'm a little wrecked, my Lord, but you take pleasure.
Yeah.
And I think that can be in anything. We
Yeah.
can say, would you take pleasure in my tears?
Yeah.
Right now. Would you take pleasure in my confusion? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Would it please your heart that I give it to you?
Yeah. And so it just shifts it because it's no longer self-focused
Yeah.
for weight loss.
Yeah.
It's now I move my body because he made my body to move.
And he loves you. There's this self-love, love others as you love yourself. You are a conduit now. Because you do love like you said, I couldn't see. I know your word says that.
Yeah,
I don't
but
get it. I don't feel that. But now you get it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more powerful than watching those lights come on
Yeah.
for people. What a
Yeah.
delight.
Yeah.
Karen,
Yeah.
worth every moment for us to get
Oh.
this moment for you to be here
Just-
with us. Thank
It's
you.
worth everything to me. And I've been so blessed to be able to go through Platoon
Health coach.
31.
Platoon 31,
and Brigade 1.
She's a
Yes.
health coach, and you are health coach. And you
Yes,
have
I've had
coached
2 people.
Maria
And gosh, my
Sweet
Carrie.
Maria.
Yeah, Maria and Carrie.
Sweet
are my-
Maria's story with her. She came
Yes.
up and told me some things where I'm like, it's just transferring easily
Yeah.
too. We see that too. Just shout out for our Live Well health coaches. If you're even considering it, it's such a delight.
Yeah.
You don't do the work.
Yeah.
You just be available. You get the work done in you
Yeah.
so you can give it away to others. And it's so contagious. People catch it when they're
Yeah.
ready for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad I wore this shirt today. Get free, stay free, and set
That
others
is
free.
what you do.
And that's my goal.
You're doing it. Love you.
Yeah,
Thank
love
you
you
so
too.
much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So good. So good. Awesome. What now, Erin?
We're gonna switch spots.
All right. Thank you, Karen. Wow.
How fun!
How great. I'm crying.
I know. It's
That
so
is a
good. I know.
That is a
I didn't know your story, Karen. So I thought, oh, she's listened from 2012 on or whatever it was, all the way
2011.
through. No, you went back. Go back. I'm looking at the camera right now. Go back and push play and watch
All the
what
way.
God does. We will soon have 3 years worth of stuff for you to go through at
No
one
joke.
time. And you
Yeah.
can do it and watch how God transforms your life through it because his word never returns void.
It is wild. I think at one point I did go way. I did a scroll to see what I was teaching years and years ago, and back to koinonia. That's the name of the radio show I was
Which means
on.
fellowship, by the way.
Yeah,
In the Greek, it means
koinonia.
fellowship.
And I listened to a teaching. And you never know when you listen to an old teaching. Like, well, prepare yourself.
That is so true.
Right? It's like you just want to forget it happened. But I was listening to myself like, that's still true.
Yeah.
That's right. It's still good.
Yeah.
And because it's never been gimmicky, it's never been trendy. It's been based on the word and the faithfulness of staying with God.
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day. Remember, I forget who we were talking about it with, but they were like, once you write it, It's down on paper. Like you wrote it, you said that right there. Your name,
books.
your thing.
Even my own books.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some things I read, like some of my, I still solid stuff, but even your own writing and your own voice changes as you get older.
Yeah.
I've learned, I think I've leaned more into just the compassion of people's stories.
Yeah.
Trying to hold that tension.
I was years ago when I was pastoring, we were on a missions trip, and there was a girl named Lindsay with us who was part of our, came in shortly after our launch team. And she said, I was telling her about this, and there was a book I had written or co-written years prior.
Yeah.
Well, I say years back and then years prior, like I'm old, but I'm not. But I was probably 24 when I co-wrote that book. And a lot of my theology had changed, right? And so it was about eschatology, end times, and I was authoritative on it because I knew how the world was going to.
Yeah, because you're 25. And
exactly,
you know it all.
So I was telling her like, "Oh, you read that?" And they were telling me because I was like, "No, don't read this and this," and they were like, "No, it's good to know your story. We see it through your writing. We see it through or hear it through your voice." And in the same way, you can follow someone's life journey. It doesn't make it wrong. It makes it, this is you.
Yeah.
Who you then and now, and how God's worked in your life since.
Totally.
And through that.
Yeah. And I think that's listening to myself say stuff. You kind of have more grace for yourself when you said something. When you write it down.
When you wrote it.
There it is. Dang it. So it takes moxie.
Right. I'm like, what I've learned to do is just third revision. Fourth revision.
You go in and I don't have that pleasure.
I do.
There it is.
I do. I own it. So I've got the pleasure of doing that. All right. We have another fun little thing real quick.
Okay.
We asked the world.
The world.
We asked the world.
All 7 billion
people in the world. And we asked them, what is your favorite episode and why?
Okay.
And if they wrote us back, we got to do a drawing, and they get the winner gets a $50 gift card to the Revelation Wellness store.
Okay.
Which we have some fantastic pieces in there, might I add, at the moment.
Created and designed. Yes. Well
we
done.
have a great team. And so we have a winner that we're going to announce right here.
But what happened to the 7 billion people that said what it was?
They said all great things. They were all behind, but the one that picked yours, we're going to go with that one.
Okay.
No, I'm just playing. That's not actually true. But we do have that. We got one. So we picked. Well, you'll get to see if you want as many as you want to see. We'll send them to you or whatever. If you want to see what some of the favorite ones were, we're probably going to analyze those. What are the comments? We just got this morning.
Okay.
So we haven't gotten to go through the analytics of that, which will very much help us. Thank you. And so, but this is it. We got a winner. Okay. This is the exciting part. We got a winner, and she's been in the studio before for some of our workout classes. Keep going. And she's a snowbird. You know who it is yet?
No.
Great. She just went through Live Well, was in Brittany's small group, your assistant, and her name is DRC.
Oh, DRC.
Yes. And so she wrote this about when we asked the question. This is a tough one. So many powerful and valuable teachings. I would have to say that my favorite podcast is number 835. Which one's that?
Normalize suffering.
Is it?
Is it?
It's not.
Oh.
It's Psalm 16:11. A moving meditation.
You're in your presence is perfect peace. Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is where you're gonna love. I know you very well. You are going to love this. This is gonna be your favorite thing.
Okay, tell me.
You ready? I love this one because at the end we get to dance with Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I picture smiling Jesus, laughing Jesus. That's what I picture.
Jesus. Oh, I love him so much.
So good, right?
Yeah.
And it fills me with such joy to be in his presence. And then she wrote Psalm 16:11. You make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures. There goes the pleasures at your right hand. What if those eternal pleasures are the way that we move?
Yeah.
Like Karen said.
Yeah.
Our things that we're asking him to take pleasure in.
I'm certain he
so
loves
good,
it.
right?
It's as much as you love watching your child climb the monkey bars for the first time that they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing it. It's body for ability.
Yeah. So here's our ask of you is we want to keep that going. We want to know what is your favorite episode and why is it your favorite episode? And because I'm in charge, I'm just going to do something I'm not allowed to do. And if I need to subsidize it, I will. But we're going to pick another one from YouTube. This time, go to YouTube and we'll pick one and we'll give you a $25 gift card to the Revelation Wellness store with our fantastic merch.
Leave a comment. Let's go. Love that.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right. That is episode 1000. What do you want to say? Is there something that you would just want to share or want to say?
I want to say thank you for being faithful and listening, and now maybe tuning in on YouTube. And I'm gonna do this until my very last breath, until I can. I've already made up my mind that if I have to just tap my toes and sing a song, I'll do it. He's worth it. So let's keep going. No stopping.
Yep. And it's a joy. It's a joy to be with you doing this. And you hear me say this 2 times a year, and I get to say it right now on the 1000th episode. And that is Alisa Keeton.
Yes, sir.
We believe in you, and we believe in God's call for you, and we're grateful for your yes. And if you were storming the charge against the gates of hell with a water pistol, we'd be right there with you.
There it is, friends. Get your water pistols. Let's go.
Let's go. See you here next time, friends. Peace.